welcome back to Bus Stop Boys. I'm Zach,
And I'm Zahran.
and today we have a Luka Super Bowl. What else is going on in the world special? Zahran, you want to kick us off?
Background, I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm happy as happy can be. I want to play a fun game with you. I want to see
Okay.
what is your trade terms between, let's say, how would you describe the Luka trade in terms of movies? Make a hypothetical trade scenario if you can.
Yeah, we texted about this. I think originally we were talking about is it like Christopher Nolan moving from Universal to Disney or something, or the Safdie brothers. I have like out of left field another analogy. Before I give mine, do you want to give your take on what the Luka trade is like in terms of movies?
All right, so because I don't want to disrespect Anthony Davis at the end of the day. So, because he is a Hall of Famer, he is a world champion. He's done a lot for the Lakers. He's done a lot for New Orleans. His only issue is that, unfortunately, he is injury ridden and unfortunately, he's pretty old. For me, I would put probably James Mangold.
Oh, that's a good one. That's so good.
um, we can't really do injury history, but in terms of like, he was doing hit after hit after hit. And then he's just gone through a bit of a lull recently. He did make the new Bob Dylan movie, so maybe this isn't as topical as I thought. But basically, you're trading away him for the Safdie brothers, the new, or the Safdies, one of the Safdies at the end of the day. Um, Young, high potential, has been doing a lot of great things and doesn't look like it's gonna stop anytime soon. What is your one? You had something
Yeah.
very
Yeah, maybe it's a hot take, but or like a Zach, but I'm saying it's like Greta Gerwig for Michael Bay. So Greta Gerwig is like she made Lady Bird, just kind of put her on the map in the indie circuit, and then she directed Barbie. That's like Luca going to the finals. This is like a hot prospect. Like Greta Gerwig is like one of the biggest directors, young up and coming directors in Hollywood. And you're just trading her away. Like that would be insane. Like no studio would do that. So that's what I think it's like. And then who's Anthony Davis? I think James Mangold's really good. I was just thinking like Michael Bay. I don't know if it's like exactly the right analogy, but someone who's good, but like like has hits more recently, a lot of clunkers. So that's kind of like what it feels like. It feels like you're still getting the points when he's like not injured, but the person you traded away has this huge upside and just did something spectacular last year. So for me, that's a Greta Gerwig.
honestly, if you put it box office wise, you're 100% right. Because Michael Bay, 2011 or 2009 through like 2015 was a blockbuster star. He had
Yeah,
Transformers, he had, what was it, The Island, he had The Rock, he had um, Pain and Gain, which was actually pretty good. Like that was actually a good story that he made, surprisingly. And
yeah.
then the Transformers, of course, and but then it's been going downhill for a bit. Um, Honestly, it feels a slap in the face to Anthony Davis just because the quality of his movies aren't usually the best.
Yeah, I think it's a little extreme.
Yeah. I like James Mangold because
Yeah.
he makes some great his quality has always usually been impeccable. But then like Indiana Jones started to go commercial, started to go a little too Hollywood, a little bit to LA, maybe, if you want to say that.
Mm,
And now,
mhm.
you know what? Now him moving to Dallas kind of is very similar to him going with the Bob Dylan movie.
I like James Manigold. I'm looking at the movies he's made. Indiana Jones, Destiny is fine.
Hmm.
40 Ferrari is out there. I didn't see that, but I know people liked it.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah,
Logan.
that's a really good analogy.
Yeah, but Greta Gerwig's awesome though. That makes a lot of sense. Was Barbie the highest grossing movie last year, or was it Oppenheimer?
In 2023, I think Barbie was. I think.
Barbie was. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it was Oppenheimer.
Yeah, yeah, that's the way to. If it was, that would be a huge credit to Nolan.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. I like that analogy at the end of the day. Okay, all righty. So we're gonna continue with the sports theme a little bit. We're gonna just
Hmm.
go from basketball to football real quick, but not the game because the game was awful. That was one
Not
of
the
the
game.
worst Super Bowls I think I've ever watched in my life. I think I stopped
Interesting.
watching and started watching Severance, which I think we're going to be talking about later.
A
When
lot of people
Kendrick
did that.
Lamar,
A lot of
yeah,
you're not the first person to say that. It's so interesting.
I think I stayed in tune just to watch the Kendrick Lamar concert. And then
Yeah.
he said, turn the TV off. I was like, okay, I got you. Don't worry, K Dot. And turned it off. And then, well, turned it off, well, as in switch to watching Severance. What about
Hmm.
you? What did you think of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I was at a party, Crown Heights. Yeah, towards the end, it was just like I'm hanging out with some friends, and like that's why I'm still at this party, not because the game is good. I was kind of hoping they'd come back. Brady had that amazing comeback against the Falcons. So you think, okay, like if Brady can engineer a comeback in third quarter, so could Mahomes, but just never came. So yeah, by the time there was like 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes left, I was like kind of ready to leave. Sunday
Yep.
night, like let's just get back home already,
Yep.
because
Yep.
this game isn't really going anywhere. So not the game I was expecting. Definitely lost my friendly bets against friends because I thought it'd be much closer.
No, I get that. Honestly, I wasn't really looking. This was the most uninterested I've been in a Super Bowl in a long time. I felt like
Interesting.
there, there's the 3P, which is pretty cool. I will not lie, but the Chiefs have been this year. I usually am not a person to really go too much into the Chiefs are getting blessed by the refs and everything like that. But this year there were so many egregious calls, even like the beginning of the Super Bowl where like um I think Jalen Hurts threw to AJ Brown and then they called it an offensive pass interference. I was like, oh, there they go again. So just because of that, I was like, I don't really want the Chiefs to win this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really interested to see if they would do three peats. I have a couple of friends who are hardcore Patriots fans, so this Super Bowl was awesome if you're Tom Brady or a Patriots fan, because now the Chiefs can't say they were better than Brady and the Pats. Like if they'd won this, I think there'd be like a really good chance you could say, "Oh, Mahomes is like the better playoff quarterback." Chiefs, they've done three in a row. No team has done that. Patriots can never do that. But now with this loss, and it wasn't a close loss, it was a blowout. That never happened to the Pats, and like Brady never let that happen. So if you're a Pats or if you're a Tom Brady fan, the Super Bowl was awesome.
Absolutely. I was saying this Super Bowl, I think, cemented Tom Brady's legacy as the GOAT
Yeah,
quarterback. Uh, One, he made millions and millions of dollars. I felt like he was in every other commercial during the Super Bowl.
that's
Uh,
right. Yeah, it's like him and Martha Stewart, but Martha Stewart was just like two or three. But then Tom Brady kept coming back and coming back. So this guy, yeah, this is the Tom Brady Bowl. Like, what are we even talking about? He was like a commentator. He was in the
yeah,
commercials, and he kind of like sealed the GOAT title. Like, he already had it, but now there's like an extra layer protected with glass or a fence around it. So,
yep. For me,
yeah,
I was
that's
like,
a good thing. It's
even before this Super Bowl, I was like, the only way Mahomes can be considered the GOAT quarterback is if he wins one more ring than Tom Brady. Even if he were to
yeah,
tie Tom Brady, the fact that Tom Brady beat him in the Super Bowl gives him that leg up. But if he were to win one extra, then it was already a huge task for Mahomes to be even considered one. But I think after this and the huge blowout that he went through, Mahomes, I can never. I don't think he's even close. And yeah, this was Brady being crowned as the GOAT, and that's as a maybe former Jets fan.
are you
We'll
quitting the
see.
Jets?
I don't know. Honestly, this was a very disappointing year. I I've been supporting them since 2000, the year 2000. Saw a lot of
Yeah.
ups and downs. I think I'm not going to actively root for them until I think Woody just goes away or we show some life and this head coach is doing something good because I think the way we fired Robert Sala wasn't cool, and then our defense going from the 28th ranked defense to the second ranked defense to the 28th ranked defense after the
Mm,
firing because the
mm.
offense was doing bad. Man, it was not something. the whole year just this season just felt like one of the worst years as a Jets fan. And there's been a lot of bad years as a Jets fan, but this felt
And
the
like
worst.
I think what made it really bad was at the beginning of the year, I think the Vegas projection for wins was like 10 wins or
10
something
wins
like
would have
that.
been mediocre. Yeah. It's like just barely meeting expectations would be 10 wins.
Yeah, it may
And
have been more. It may have been like 11 or 12 wins, but they got nowhere close to that
yep,
as you know.
exactly. Yep. As I, and the year before, there's no excuses anymore because the year before when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, we're like, all right, you know what? This year's a wash. But this year we had Aaron Rodgers. He played the entire year, yet, you know, the same old Jets. But on to happier notes. The reason why I brought up the Super Bowl was because there was quite a few trailers that were premiered or they showed a longer extended cut. So
Mhm.
you want to get started? Go through a few of these trailers.
Let's do it. Let's get some reactions. Because
Uh,
some of these I feel like are gonna be good. Others, I'm like, I have questions.
Alrighty. Which one do you want to start with first?
Um, we can go in order. So according to this video, Mission Impossible is first.
Okay. For me, it's amazing. I think
Nice.
the last movie was good, but there was a lot of things I didn't really like about it. One was, if you haven't watched it, you have spoilers. Killing off Rebecca Ferguson's character was not really. It was very anticlimactic, and it just left a very bad taste in my mouth through the entire movie. Another thing
Yeah.
was it wasn't shot in IMAX, so it wasn't like the
Mm.
experience was like for a Mission Impossible movie, you should be filming in IMAX. And the fact that they didn't was like there's a sense of lack of quality in it. Um, Fallout, I think, is still my favorite Mission Impossible movie, and this
Mhm.
movie I just felt like did that part one didn't live up to the expectations. But from this trailer, a lot of the stunts they showed, a lot of the emotion they're showing. What's his name? Ving Rhames is his name, I want to say.
Yeah, he's still going.
Ether still going, and he's really the heart of the movie, and it seems like he's more involved in this movie too.
Good.
Please don't die. Please don't die. Please keep him alive. But the action looked awesome. He Tom Cruise is doing it again. He's hanging by a thread on a small plane. So, and he definitely did that, obviously. So, man, he is the action star of action stars. I feel like he walks the walk. What did you think?
Yeah, I think if you look at box office numbers, I think the last Mission Impossible went down a little bit, if I remember correctly. I
Yeah,
think there was like a little bit of fatigue. Like now there's like a formula. Like starts off getting hunted somewhere, and he gets like a briefcase, and then he gets a mission, and then the briefcase explodes, and then the action happens. So yeah, I think the choice to make a two-part finale is interesting. Like, I wonder if like one really good movie might have been better. But like Hollywood nowadays loves like the two-part finale. So I hope it's good. I'm hoping it's a good send-off. If it is actually the finale, this is a pretty iconic action franchise. So I'm pretty excited to see it. I hope it's good.
yeah.
It's just I guess I'm also curious like what thing new can they do here because we've kind of like seen it all. So I hope there's like I said like good emotion here, maybe some interesting stunts as well. But this is like the eighth Mission Impossible. Is that right? Or ninth one?
I want to say mm, eighth or you're right. It's either the eighth or ninth. I don't know which one though. The part one
Yeah,
really
yeah. So
confused
there's
me.
a bunch of these movies, but
There's one, two, three, Ghost Protocol, Fallout. I feel like I missed one in between. Um,
I
and
have a soft
then
spot for Ghost Protocol.
is that the one in India near the end with Anil
Yeah,
Kapoor?
yeah. They do Dubai, India, and one other place. But there's like a really cool sandstorm scene, which if you see in IMAX or like Dolby surround sound is like super dope. I love
Very
him
cool.
scaling the Burj Khalifa. The
Yep.
India scenes were cool. So I think that might be my favorite. Although there's some pretty good scenes in I think Fallout's a sequel, right?
Fallout's the sequel. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's
Well,
only
not
seven.
technically.
This might be the eighth. Then. Yeah,
Okay,
the
just 8th
the
then.
one with Henry Cavill is my favorite by far. Just, him
Good one.
reloading his arms real quick before he starts punching people again. That was pretty cool. Uh, all around awesome movie. But yeah, this one, I won't lie, the trailer gave me goosebumps when he's like, just trust me one last time. I'm like, yeah, don't worry, Tom
Okay, fair enough.
Cruise. I'll start worshiping Xenu. Don't worry. But yeah, on to the next trailer. What we got, Zach?
All right, next we have I see an F1 trailer. I didn't see it though. Do you know what this is? If not, we can skip it and go Thunderbolts. Okay,
Skip,
let's do Thunderbolts.
asterisk,
Okay.
Thunderbolts,
Okay.
asterisk. Yeah. What were your thoughts on it?
I'm happy to see it. So like actually I think maybe I'm a little bit more up on this trailer than you might be. Um so the last Black Widow movie came out post pandemic. I think like it was right during the time when movies were starting to like reopen, people were starting to go back to movies in like late 2021 or so. So I remember seeing like the prequel in theaters. It's like one of the first movies I saw post pandemic in a theater. So that holds like a soft spot for me in that sense. Seeing Florence Pugh doing her thing is like always like super awesome, and she's still remaining like in this franchise. And I know Marvel's still figuring things out and whatnot, but this seems like another fun movie. Kind of like not taking itself super duper seriously. That's something I'm curious about with Fantastic Four and Superman. It's like with those movies, are the origin stories? Are they going to take themselves too seriously? So this movie isn't doing that, and so that's kind of like why I'm happy with it. Like I think this could be a good time. So that's kind of what I took away from the trailer.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. For me, it felt a lot like they're truly trying to recapture the essence that James Gunn had and the
Yeah.
vacuum he left behind after going to the DC universe. Um, but it felt like a cheap knockoff of it. It felt
Oh,
like they
interesting.
were really trying to emulate the Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad 2, where James Gunn did it with uh, Idris Elba and everyone like that.
Hmm.
Uh, I think they're trying to capture that, but it's just not coming out. And I think it's gonna come but the cast is awesome. You have Florence Pugh and the guy from Stranger Things. Their chemistry
Yeah.
is David Harbour. Their chemistry, I think, is gonna carry this movie. And I have a feeling David Harbour is gonna die. I don't know why. It just feels that way. And then um,
You heard
the
it here
Winter
first.
Soldier.
He's dying.
Predictions. Ving
Yeah.
Rhames is no Ving Rhames. I hope doesn't die from Mission Impossible, but yeah, I it just feels like more of the same for me. And I think
Okay.
we're going to talk about this later with the Captain America reviews, and I think they had a trailer during the thing too. It just feels like more of the same, and I think Marvel needs to do something very drastically different to capture the eyes of the general audience again and the critics again. And I'm just not seeing it, and I don't nothing in this trailer like made me go, oh yeah, Marvel's back. Even Deadpool versus Wolverine, even though it was good, I there's still like there's still something missing post Endgame that that magic still hasn't come back for me personally. But yeah,
When does the Robert Downey Jr. movie come out? I forget which movie it's going to be in, but
Doomsday, I want to say.
yeah,
I think they're
yeah.
putting all their eggs into the Avengers basket at this point. They're gonna bring back all the old people, Robert Downey Jr., maybe Chris Evans, but though Chris Evans did deny it. But then again, Andrew Garfield was denying that he was playing Spider-Man again for like a year. But
That's right. Avengers Doomsday. So when does that come out? Do, do, okay, that's next year.
next year, we got a
Damn.
while to go. They gotta
Yeah,
the
I know
all these
exactly.
movies.
That's why I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, you know what? If it's a good time, that'll like that's good enough for me this year. Expectations are like lower, like you said. I do think Avengers Doomsday is like, if that doesn't work out, then Marvel's in trouble, even deeper
yeah,
trouble,
deep,
maybe
yeah,
permanently in
deeper in
trouble.
trouble.
Yeah,
It feels like all these movies feel a little straight to Disney Plus. Like
yeah.
that's how it feels. Nothing. Fantastic Four is the only one that I'm actually very interested in. Just because it looks
That
so
that's the
different.
next trailer. So should we just jump into Fantastic Four?
Let's talk about it. Yeah, what did you think, Zach, then? Uh,
Well, I guess like yeah, I do have concerns about another origin movie. We haven't had an origin movie in a couple years, so like maybe like that's not as big a deal. Um, phase one, and I think phase two were like full of origin films. Like here's Iron Man, here's Captain America. Um, and then I'm kind of curious about the setting they have. It feels kind of like some futuristic version of the 50s or 60s that the Fantastic Four is like appearing in, whatever
mhm,
this
mhm.
universe is. I don't know if it's like our universe or like some kind of parallel universe. So I have some question marks in my head. I'm like, oh, like, is this like going to be interesting or is this just like another origin story and we've like seen this before? The
Yeah.
comments on YouTube were pretty generous though. They were saying, oh, this is gonna be like a proper intro to the Fantastic Four. So maybe if it draws a lot from the comic books and I don't know much about the Fantastic Four, so like maybe there's interesting backstories like within the movie. Like this could be good, but like I want to see it to believe it.
Yeah, honestly, this made me realize I think one of the biggest issues with the MCU is that the universe is just becoming way too cluttered. There's
Interesting.
so much going on. Like X, Y, and Z is like related to ABC, and you have all these people writing these scripts, and they're so tied down to so much lore right behind them. That what I appreciate about the Fantastic Four is it seems like this origin story is kind of in its own universe,
Yeah.
and it seems for all intents and purposes um, a self-contained origin story that doesn't have anything else holding it back or like tying a leash around it. So because of that, having that artistic freedom to create its own universe, create its own identity will help it to differentiate itself from every other universe. And what I think the MCU should do personally is that they need to have all these superheroes become separated into different universes somehow. Do some kind of, you know, for a big event, do some kind of multiverse event, like Avengers multiverse event, but try to have them be isolated from each other so they can tell their iconic stories that are self-contained and which can show them a more heart. I think Endgame as a finale was awesome in a culmination of various, superheroes and stuff. But I think they reached that peak. Now let us tell these street stories again, like, down on the boots on the ground and everything like that. Show us
Hmm.
personal stories between them, intertwined between them. Don't have Spider-Man jumping in and saving them somehow last minute. Just give these characters their own story, their own heart and universe. And I think that's what Fantastic Four is trying to do.
That's a really good spin. I agree. Like it'd be nice to have like a self-contained film that's not super concerned about the MCU and more just telling the story. And we've kind of seen this with DC. Two like mixed results, but there are a lot of gems in the DC movies that aren't connected to each other, like the
Mhm.
Batman films or the first Joker film. So maybe MCU is seeing that like, okay, like maybe that's something we have to try at this point, just to like try and get some funding back and get people's interest back in the series.
Yep. No, you nailed it right on the head because DC's struggle was that their cinematic universe is so weak that the individual movies were kind of hampered, and it really depended on the filmmakers for DC had to really push out some good quality movies for it to
Yeah.
get that attention. So, like you mentioned, the Batman, Joker, Penguin, these it's kind of on its own merit, and they're like we said is like self-contained stories. So now DC learned from it. Now let's see if Marvel can do the same because they're now in that same like the general public is thinking of Marvel, not maybe not to the same hate as they did with the DCU, but they're
Yeah.
getting very indifferent towards the MCU and they need good quality writing, self-contained stories, and let the directors direct. Don't put so many rules on them. Let them do some crazy stuff. So hopefully they do that moving forward.
To Marvel's credit, I feel like the only like real miss has been Eternals. The rest have just been like maybe a little bit too much like the past movies or not interesting enough. But
Hmm.
that's okay.
Hmm.
At least it's not total misses. Like DC has some real swings and misses with all the Zack
Yeah,
Snyder movies and or like depending on the movie, but a lot of them are
yeah,
total whiffs. So that hasn't
Joker
happened yet at
too.
MCU. Um, that said, let's see if the which movie is next on the list. Okay, in terms of trailers, the next one was Jurassic World Rebirth, which we just watched again.
Yep.
Um, I can give some thoughts. First thing was like, I'm just happy Chris Pratt's gone. Nothing personal against Chris Pratt, but like those movies, were fun to like go see with your cousins and you grab some popcorn and you watch some like dinosaurs fighting each other and go home. Like the storylines didn't always make sense. Like I think the second movie, it's like, wait, why are we in this rich person's mansion and why are there dinosaurs in here? How do we get in here again? Um, I feel like the Jurassic Park universe is like on the islands and like they kind of have a formula, kind of like Mission Impossible movies. It's like, oh, like scientists gets lured into doing some cool research and they get to the island and then they're like stuck there and they have to like escape. Um, it seems like they're going back to that formula a little bit more than like trying to tie it into like I don't know, whatever the Chris Pratt movies are trying to do. And you have a pretty good cast. You have Scarlett Johansson and you also have Mahershala Ali, who I wasn't expecting to see in the trailer, but now that I know he's in the movie, I want to see it just because I want to see what he does in the movie. So I'm like cautiously optimistic. Like this franchise hasn't had the best run in the past like 10 years, but maybe this movie is a step forward in the right direction. What did you think?
Uh, it seemed promising.
Yeah.
I think I mirror a lot of the same thoughts you're having. Chris Pratt is great in Guardians and he's great in Parks and Rec, which I'm recently
Yeah.
rewatching. And I think giving him that goofball but good heart, but also like has that action, sentiment to him. He has that down to a T, and I just don't think he was able to bring that charm to the Jurassic World. And maybe it's
Yeah.
direction, maybe it's writing, because Colin Trevorrow did not do a good job with those movies at all with his writing.
No.
One thing, I don't know if you remember this from the second movie. Remember they were auctioning off the dinosaurs? They were
Was that
selling
the
for,
Mansion movie?
yeah, that was the mansion one.
Yeah.
They were selling those things for like 10 million, $15 million. Like, mind you, that is a lot of money. But if you're buying the scientific like breakthrough, you're not selling them for $15 million. Add a few extra zeros to that number. Like little things like that really bothered me about the movie, outside of the horrible dialogue and everything. Bryce Dallas Howard, I wish she's the one who directed those movies. Like
Yeah.
she's an amazing director. Um, but she's always in these like mediocre movies starring in them, like Terminator Salvation, these dinosaur movie, I know Jurassic World movies. So I think this is like the trailer looked fine to me. It looked very it reminded me a lot of the Godzilla movies, the recent Godzilla movies where it's like a hollow earth. It felt like they were in that kind of same place. Like also a little bit like
Yeah.
King Kong.
Yep.
um, Remember the movie scenes of King Kong where they were uh, the Peter Jackson one I'm talking about. Even Skull
Yeah.
Island, actually, if I think about it. So it felt like they were getting a lot of influence from those Godzilla movies, the MonsterVerse movies. So, I mean, it makes sense because they've been doing pretty well and they're trying to recapture that magic. So, I think it's
One
all
thing I
going to come down
liked
to
about this
writing. Yeah.
trailer, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. One thing I liked about this trailer was that like they didn't give away everything. Like at one point, they're like, to your point about the MonsterVerse, they're like, oh, there's like a mega dinosaur here, and they don't totally show it all. One thing I didn't like about the Captain America trailer, which we spoke about, I think in the past, was I feel like this gave away the movie in the trailer. Like, oh, here's Red Hulk, and like here's exactly what happens play by play.
Hmm.
So like I'm glad this trailer doesn't give everything away. That is a good call out though, that the MonsterVerse is a big influence on wanting to keep this franchise alive. I will always have a soft spot for this franchise because man, the first Jurassic Park is just so good. Like it's like an actual like work of cinema, but also like a good popcorn flick. So I'm like cautiously optimistic. Like maybe it could be good. So that's why I root for it.
No, you'll always have like I'll always have hope too. Like I rewatched one and two so many times, Lost World and Jurassic Park, and both of them are like the second one's more of a guilty pleasure. I know Steven Spielberg did direct it, but there was definitely something missing with that movie.
Yeah.
But the first one is just a classic, and I think it shaped a lot of our childhoods. So we're always gonna have hope that it did well. That's why like I know the third movie isn't that great, not the third, not Jurassic World 3, which was also not that great either, but the Jurassic World 3, where they brought back the old characters. It was really nice to see them again on the screen. Even though the movie wasn't that good, just seeing their chemistry was awesome. And no matter how bad the writing is, them being able to play off of each other, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and why am I forgetting
Jeff
the
Goldblum,
most
right?
famous? Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, why am I forgetting the most famous person's name out of the three? Um, no, they were able to riff off of each other. They were able to get the new characters involved to the point where I'm like, just show me more of the original characters. I don't care about Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas
Yeah.
Howard and Clone Girl, but but yeah, um, let's see. There's always hope for it, and hopefully they do well with this one.
All right. Next, How to Train Your Dragon. Did you see this trailer?
Yes, I did see this trailer. As a background, the original trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Uh, Grew up with them. The music is incredible. Um, I can constantly watch that movie, like from the first movie to the third movie, all the time. The movie has a lot of heart. Each one tells a very specific story. Um, from what the movie looks like, the trailer looks like a shot for shot remake. And it's the same director.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the same composer or not, but from the trailer music, it looks like they're scoring it the same way. I know a lot of people are going to be haters that they're just recreating and making this live action. But as someone who loved the original movies, original movies are not going away. This trailer, the fact that they brought back the old director gives me hope that it's still going to be good. It's just catered to a different audience. There's a lot of people like I know my parents will never watch How to Train Your Dragon solely because it's animated. There's a large audience that won't watch a movie just because it's animated. No matter how much we can say animation is cinema, look at all the art styles they're trying to bring in. For them, it's always going to be, oh, this is a kids movie. And if you bring that live action and if you show the special effects, you show the heart, you show the acting, you bring in some A-list actors like Gerard Butler, you're going to get those people to come watch and you're going to try to revive that franchise. How to Train Your Dragon recently hasn't been in the zeitgeist. Um,
Yeah.
and I think in my head, I'm always internally comparing this movie trailer to the Lion King movie. The Lion King movie is iconic, classic movie. That's the difference. Everyone knows. Same thing like Jurassic Park. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone's watched it. How to Train Your Dragon is leagues below that. So I get it, and I endorse this movie, and I'm very excited to watch it opening day. Uh, that's my rant.
Yeah, I had some similar thoughts actually. Like I was
Yeah.
watching the trailer and I'm like, this visually looks a lot like the animated movie. Like the dragon looks almost identical. And then the people are real now, but the way they're dressed and like kind of like the way people like the casting they did, they kind of look like the animated characters. And like you said, it seemed like some of the scenes were like shot for shot. Like I was just watching the trailer, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that part of the movie. I know, yeah, there's like the really big dragon, etc. So like that part was like almost so weird, but at the same time, the first movie is really good. So like as I was watching the trailer, I'm like, dang, I want to watch this because I remember the first movie and it was dope, and like I wouldn't mind seeing like this version of it. And they didn't seem to butcher the visuals like they did with The Lion King, or like the visuals don't feel weird. I think maybe
Hmm.
they saw that like a lot of people thought Lion King was weird, like how realistic the visuals were. So now we're going to try and make it almost very similar to the anime movie. So I'm curious how that works out. But yeah, the first movie's good, so I'd be down to see this one. And I haven't seen any of the other How to Train Your Dragon movies, so
Ooh,
maybe they'll keep
please
making
do.
remakes and I'll see them.
Yeah, put it on your watch list to be honest, because
Oh,
the
okay.
second movie, they changed, I think the graphics engine that they brought from the first movie to the second movie, and not only like the special effects look incredible in that. Like it honestly gives Pixar a run for their money. And not only that, but Roger Deakins was the cinematographer for it, or like the director
Oh,
of
wow.
photography or
That's like
something. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's cinematographer, right? Or is Scorsese's?
I know he did some Denny. He's like all over the place. Roger
Yeah,
Deakins, he
he's all
did
over.
1917, Casino
Yeah.
Royale. Like he's just a master of cinematography and getting these frames to look absolutely beautiful. And he has like a lot of my wallpapers for my computer are actually from How to Train Your Dragon 2 because they did some artwork for it with the frames that Roger Deakins wanted to do. Um, but yeah, I think you
The
might be right.
rest,
He definitely
yeah.
did some Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah, I was looking it up. Blade Runner also pops up.
Yep,
Sicario.
Sicario.
Um,
Denny
which is
Villeneuve.
now
Yeah.
10 years old, which kind of blows my mind. But yeah, Sicario came out a long time ago.
I went to theaters to watch that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it was
Time flies.
2015.
Yeah.
All right. Put Matt Damon's face, the aging of the Saving
Yeah.
Fire.
Amazing reference. Okay, I don't have thoughts about any of the rest of these movies, but I'll list them out and you tell me if you want to talk about any of them.
Mhm.
Megan 2.0, Novocaine, The Amateur, Lilo and Stitch, Smurfs, and The Studio.
Lilo and Stitch. I think that was just like a Super Bowl play, right? It wasn't like an actual trailer, from what I
Right.
remember.
Yeah, that's what I remember too.
Yeah, it seems fine. I watched it when I was a kid, the animated version. So I think very like I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because I did say that whole spiel about How to Train Your Dragon. So if they give it credit, then fine. Because Lilo and Stitch isn't that big in terms of popularity compared to the rest of the Disney classics. So if it brings in a new audience, that's cool for them. And I mean, Disney has been on a roll lately since the whole power struggle they had. So I trust Bob Iger with what he's doing.
I think Lilo and Stitch, I feel like the movie is whatever, but they ship a lot of merchandise that's like Lilo and Stitch related. So I think for them, it's like, oh, this movie's whatever, but like the merchandise we're going to sell is going to be kind of insane. And I think there's probably some good like Lilo and Stitch experiences at the parks. So I think it's more for like that part of Disney. It's like, oh, the merchandise in parks is like going to get a big bump at Lilo and Stitch.
That's a
If the
huge,
movie's
great
good,
point.
that's like a bonus, I guess.
Yeah. There's that makes a lot of sense actually. Now that you put it, yeah. Outside of those trailers, not really much. I do have a trailer slash review I want to talk about though.
Yeah, let's do it.
Captain America, not great
Yeah.
reviews. Yeah,
Yikes. I'm sad to see this. I was hoping this, like you said, like maybe this is like the White Knight for Marvel, but no.
yeah. Bringing in Harrison Ford as President Ross, I thought that would be pretty cool to see, but I guess not. Reviews are pretty. It's not. When I say the reviews are bad, I would say they're very middle of the road. But that's exactly what the MCU has been. It's just been very. They're just. It just feels like they're just running the wave, riding the wave until the next Avengers comes, and this this doesn't look like it's changing the trend, and that's why I also don't have that much high expectations for Thunderbolts. I do see from the reviews that Anthony Mackie's is breaking out of his shell. I think he's always been very reserved when he's playing the role, but when he's like in public, when he's playing other roles like Twisted Metal or doing press releases, his personality comes out, and he's such a funny guy. And I just don't see it when he plays the Falcon. I don't see it when he's playing Captain America. And it really sucks to see because like when he's got past the thing, I thought he would be a great fit because he would do his own personality with it. But it seems like he's very subdued when he's playing it, and I hope it changes with the movie. Um, but yeah, you have any thoughts on the reviews and everything?
Yeah, write this down. I think Thunderbolts will have a better reviews than this movie. Now it's a low bar. I think
Yeah.
Thunderbolts will be like a little more funny, and the actors are younger.
Hmm.
I was talking at a Super Bowl party how Harrison Ford is like Red Hulk, and the person I was talking to was like, "How is that possible? Harrison Ford is like a million years old." No offense, Harrison Ford, he's awesome. It's just like that's kind of old to play like a flagship character in Marvel, I would say. So I feel like my expectations like weren't super duper high on this movie, and yeah, I think the reviews kind of panned that out. So I was hoping for a surprise. It didn't quite happen.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he is playing a 80-year-old president, but that's the norm for
Yeah,
us, so it's not too
I guess so. Good
unrealistic.
point. It was accurate.
It was fairly accurate. And I guess like the gamma rays and everything made him be able to be strong. So I get that. Unfortunately, reality has made wild things like this not too crazy at the end of the day. But I'm excited to see him play a Marvel Universe thing, especially the way he's been playing Shrinking. Uh, it looks like he's he's acting to act. He's not doing this for the paycheck. He's doing it
Yeah,
for the passion. He
good for
seems
him.
like he's trying to have fun again.
Yeah.
So good for him. I'll still be watching it, obviously, but yeah, I think I'll note that Thunderbolts. You're predicting Thunderbolts will be higher than Captain America. Let's see where you draft it. Spoilers.
Oh yeah,
Sneak
yeah. Stay
preview.
tuned for a future episode for our 2025 movie draft. Before that, pop quiz: Eternals or Captain America: Brave New World? Which one got a lower score on Rotten Tomatoes? Without looking.
Mm, keeping my eyes closed so you know I'm not cheating. I'm gonna say Captain America.
Eternals by 2 percentage points.
Wow.
So Captain America has 51% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Eternals for actually 47%.
Wait, Eternals is 47, and how much is Captain America?
51.
I think that's gonna drop because today was the first release day, right? So usually, like in the
Oh, you think
first
it's
day,
gonna
it's
keep
like
going
higher.
down? Okay.
It might
Well,
go keep going
yeah,
down.
you're right.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But
Okay.
I can see that. It's so sad because Eternals was by Chloe Zhao, right?
Yeah.
Director. And she, I really thought that was gonna be one of the higher like rated movies just from her pedigree. But it's just too much bloat, too much introducing of too many characters. It reminded me a lot of the Justice League movie, not the 5 hour one, like the 2 hour one, Joss Whedon one. But
I feel like
yeah,
I've seen the first half of Eternals a couple of times. Never got through it.
yeah. It's a very
Yeah.
well shot movie.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to watch, but it's so boring to watch at the same time. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well. Alrighty. What else we got for today? We got through everything for the most part.
I think so. Do you want to do? We can probably save Severance for a later episode once you watch a little bit
Okay.
more. Unless you want to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
like
yeah.
first reactions. Yeah, let's do that.
Weekly recommendation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
you want to go
Cool,
first?
cool. Alrighty. Okay, time for our next segment, weekly recommendations. I have not a movie, not a TV show, not a book, not an anime, nothing like
Okay.
that. I got the Weekend album.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I
Yeah.
like this. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I grew up with the Weekend. There's an old website called Stumble Upon, and I clicked on it one day after studying and stuff, and it brought me to the House of Balloons like album art. I clicked it. It just downloaded a zip file. This is 2010, 2011 or something like that.
Yeah.
And luckily didn't get any viruses, but I listened to it and it changed my life. And I'm like, this is one of the greatest art. This guy's gonna be one of the greatest artists of all time. And to see this album and him nailing it and it transitioning into House of Balloons to try to show a full circle of The Weeknd. I think this is his last album as The Weeknd. Um, it was very beautifully done. The story it kind of tells with the trilogy between Dawn FM and After Hours with this, I think was wonderfully done. Also, as a finale for The Weeknd, was wonderfully done. M- There's no like standout hits, but listening to that album from beginning to end is like art. It just felt like art. The way each song transitions into the next, the interludes. I actually did was annoyed when there was other features in this album because I was like, oh, get out of here, Travis Scott. I just want to listen to The Weeknd. The production is amazing. Um, just the producers knocked it out of the park, and his sense of sound is still second to none. There's one track where he did it with Giorgio. Um, he did a track with Daft Punk back in the day too, but
Giorgio
he's like a
Moroder, the Italian
yeah, yeah,
DJ. Yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep, exactly him. And
Nice. Wow.
they did a song together in this, and it just felt like a duet between Giorgio's music and The Weeknd singing. So if you haven't, just take one day. I was driving back from New Jersey and I missed like three stops because I was just vibing to the music. That's how great it was. So yeah, that's my recommendation. What about you?
That's an amazing recommendation. I haven't heard it yet, so I want to listen to it. And yeah, for me, like House of Balloons, that's like freshman year of college, that fall, that winter, like that was like
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
repeat that whole season. So this is a cool thing. I didn't realize Weekend was retiring the weekend, and that this might be that finale. So I'm definitely gonna check that out. Thank you for mentioning that.
If you wanted to tie to movies, there's a movie trailer for this album. He's making a
Oh,
movie out of this with
wow.
Jenna Ortega, Mike Hugan.
Oh,
I feel like
okay,
this probably should have been in our news segment. But yes, the
okay.
trailer is
I didn't know
awesome. You
that.
should watch it. It seems
Okay,
very thriller. It reminds me a lot of the Uncut Gems trailer.
he was in Uncut Gems.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's why I thought of it that way, but
yeah.
like it has that touch of the weekend to it. Oh wow, I'm actually wearing a weekend hoodie. That's awesome.
Wow, true fan.
But, but yeah, definitely watch the trailer. It wasn't part of the Super Bowl one, so I didn't want to mention it there, but it's pretty good, and I think the cast looks awesome for it too, and hopefully it does well.
That's really good. I have like a more low key recommendation. Mo is back on Netflix, and that makes me really happy.
Ah,
Yeah, did you see
yeah.
season one? I guess you did.
No, 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 I haven't.
Oh,
But you recommended most season one in a previous episode, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I think this was a TV show that was affected by the writer's strike. So like, and also like current events because the main character is Palestinian.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like on TV, a bunch of shows like Severance and White Lotus came back because of the writer's strike. Mo is also like kind of caught in that, and then also you have
Hmm.
like the war that happened that also like through that made them like rewrite the script for the second season. So yeah, I think like this show is like touching. It's also like very funny. Like it's not a serious show. Like Mo's a stand-up comedian, and like that doesn't
Hmm.
change in this season's. But I really like the first season. I'm glad that Netflix gave it a second one, and I think they just let Mo do his thing. So
That's
that's an easy recommend. Just want to have it on. Again, like not too serious, but like it is like very funny and very touching. So I recommend it.
very cool. He did an interview with Jon Stewart, I think 2 weeks ago or last week.
Okay.
That's why I was like, oh yeah, Mo, because he
Yeah.
mentioned that he the new season is starting. So cool to see. Can't wait. I'm actually gonna start it now. I think that's one of the oh my God, man, dude, we are in like the golden age of just media. It feels like this
Well,
the watch
television's
list is
back.
so long. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because last year it was like a little bit so because the writer's strike was still affecting things. But now
Hmm.
Severance is back, Mo is back. I think this weekend White Lotus is back. So uh yeah, we're back, baby. Get that like
Thank God.
backlog ready to go.
Yeah, it's like, damn, we had so much time to finish our backlog, and
Yeah,
now
I
it's like
know.
all of them are coming back. And I just appreciate when just shows are just weekly again instead of just binging a bunch of, you know, an entire
Mhm,
season because it's going to get spoiled for you. Like Severance,
mhm.
right? Even though this isn't the best one because I am still 2 weeks behind. I watched episode 1 and 2, you watched episode 4.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'll catch up next time. But
yeah.
I appreciate being able to talk about it. You knowing exactly. It's like, oh yeah, so season 2 was then this is what happened, what so far. So yeah. Um more weekly content. Please stop binging. Invincible is back. Sorry, I don't know
It
why I
is.
thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that's
I like the
on
way Amazon
Prime,
does
right?
it. Amazon.
Yeah,
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 Prime. I like the way Amazon does it, where they do 3 episodes and then they do weekly. So you
yeah.
get that binge in with the first 3 episodes, and then after that, you can kind of go through the water cooler talk and everything.
I would have minded that for Severance. I think now that I'm episode 4, I'm appreciating the weekly cadence where it's like drop, listen to and read a lot of content about what exactly happened, some predictions, and then watch the next episode. I think starting off for the first couple like episodes, I'm like, give me more. Like we just like got started this first hour. Like I want to see another couple hours of this before I drop it. So yeah, I like that Amazon model of like 3 and then weekly.
Yeah. Yeah, because it gives you time to digest and analyze things, like you said, like go through theories, learn more about it. Because when you binge, like Squid Game, right? Squid Game came and went, and like
Yeah,
it's it. I don't think we even talked about it. And it's just it's hard to because they put everything up, and I have no idea where you are. You have no idea where I am. It came out 2 days ago. You might have just been a degenerate and just binged it all in a day. I could have
yeah.
been waiting like, once a month or something like that. So yeah, we'll see. I think it allows us to hear more theories and everything like that. So cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
be
get
sure to
ready for our
like and
severance
subscribe.
talk next week. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you wanna hear that.
Yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe so you guys are ring the bell so when we talk about severance, you guys are there. As well as our
Exactly.
movie draft, which we might do with some guest stars, possibly.
Stay tuned.
Cool. Alrighty. Zach, it's been great to
Until next
have
time.
you. Until next, I don't know why I said great to have you, but yeah, until next time, this is a short and sweet episode. Peace.
Cheers.